Welcome students, myself Dr. Rupak Chakraborty. So programming subject name is programming with C++ lab. Course code is CS393. So already we had discussions regarding the basics of C++ in our previous lecture. So in continuation with the previous lecture, today we will see some of the conditions means obviously you have the idea because you have already learned C language. So if else and nested if else, and cases means which cases we have learned inside which cases. Generally we use the keyword break and loops and functions. So these are my topic: condition, cases, loops and functions in C++. Okay, so without wasting any more time, directly I am entering to the contents. So first of all is the conditional statements. So I have added in my presentation one flow diagram of conditional statements. You can see at the very top the starting. Here in that starting, all the initialization of the variables and etc will take place. After that, condition, if condition, so means condition gets checked, and if it is true, then our cursor enters in the body, means the whatever the statement we write inside the body, that gets executed. And if condition is false, see, if condition is false, then we write here else, and inside else whatever we will write, that will get execute. Okay, so this is the common flow diagram of conditional statement of if else. Already we have idea of if else. Now I am moving to the nested if else. Okay, I will show you some hands-on of if else and nested if else as well. Already I have opened my Ubuntu distributions at that back side, so I will show you some programming of if else and nested if else. In the flow diagram of nested if else, you can see nested means if that same thing is declared or defined inside that same thing. Okay, so inside if else another, if inside if another if else or else if in C and C++ we write the keyword that is else if. Okay, so inside if we will write here else if, then again else, like that our our means programming will continue. Okay, so the flow diagram, you can see, you can get the idea from this flow diagram. If condition, if it is false, then nested if condition, okay, again false, then nested else body. Okay, if it is true, then it enters to the nested if body, and at that very first checking, first condition checking, if it is true, then directly it enters in the outer if body. Otherwise, after you can see, when it nested else body gets successfully executed, then it comes here and the outer else gets executed, right? So this is the flow diagram. So better we can see, and actually I have added here one code syntax which will help you to understand it better. You can see here, if it is running was variable. So if it is true, okay, if it is true, the value of is running is true, then it enters in that body. Okay, in that body again we are checking if temperature is greater than 45, then fine, this statement will get execute, and if it is false, then else parts will execute. Okay, so this is the closing of this if means block. Otherwise, if it is not raining, suppose it is snowing, okay, the temperature is very less. So else if is snowing, then if temperature greater than 20, this, if else if its temperature is only greater than 0 but it is less than 20, here means it is greater than 0 but less than 20, then this statement will get execute. Otherwise, this else portion. So you can see if, then else, then if, and this is the else. So for if, this is the else, for this if, this is the else, and here if, for this if, this the else, for this if, this is the else. Okay, so wherever if is declared, you can see the alternate else is also lying side by side with it. Okay, so we can see one if else condition. Here I will show you instead of else if we can use the logical and operator or logical or operator as well. Okay, so I will show you one example, hands-on example. Let's get checked. Creating one directory. Oops. Okay, now I'm entering in the directory nano nested.cpp. Nano editor gets opened. Declaring namespace. Now integer main. Return 0. Now suppose I want to show you one concept of logical and. Okay, already the logical and can be alternative of nested if else. Nested if else, whatever nested if else is doing, the same thing can be done using the logical and. Suppose I want marks of three subjects, or so M1, M2, M3, M4, M5. These are the marks of this. Then we can consider the average. Okay, so these are the variables I have declared. Now we can ask from user enter marks, and so we can write enter marks for 5 subjects. Now we can scan this one by one. Okay, we have scanned 5 subjects, marks of 5 subjects, right? Now we will check if we will grade as per this. We will grade as per this. Suppose if M1 greater than, or what we can do, we can consider the average one. Suppose now I am finding out the average. So average will be this one, this one. Just divide by 5. Okay. So I will enter marks between 1 to 100. So obviously the average will also be inside 1 to 100, between 1 to 100, right? So now we can check the condition average. If it is greater than, I am starting from that very top grade. Okay, so if it is, or from very bottom grade also we may start. If it is greater than 40 and suppose less than 55, okay, then we can print here grade D. We may first, if it is less equal 40, first of all I am not writing any condition. If it is this one less equal to 40, there it is. Now instead of else if, instead of else if, I will not use here else if, right? So I will use only logical and instead of if else if average greater than 40 and again average 55 we can consider. Then see out, actually see here multiple conditions, so another bracket is required. Means these two brackets will work as a whole bracket. Inside this if condition there is the, now we can print get C. So like this we can continue. Just one example, a simple example, the alternative of else if we can use, right? So now the same thing can be copied. For copy, the alt then pause symbol can come here, then control U. Okay, or I should have copied the total. Yeah, fine. So it is now, this time it will be greater than 55 and less than, say it is 70. Then grade B. Now copy these two at a time, control U. Now it should be greater than 70. It should be greater than 70 and say 85. Okay, so it will be A. Then again without else, right? Without else we can write if it is, then we can say the outstanding. So the grade should be O. It's a outstanding student. O, right? Fine. So it is a simple program. Here you can see no else if I have used. Only using the logical and operator we can solve this problem. So alternative of else if can be considered as logical and or logical or as well. Okay. So either you can go with the nested if else. Yeah, sometimes it is required. It is better to use the nested if else. I have already shown you the syntaxes of nested if else. Here with the help of logical and you can also solve this type of problem where multiple conditions raised. It means it is required to check multiple conditions. Control O saving, Control X, then G++ compiler. The file name is nested.cpp. I can see one error here. Uh, Expected a bracket. It is asking a bracket. Just let me check before 70. Here, here it is asking a bracket. So I made a mistake in everywhere at the time of copying. Now it is fine. Now it is fine. Compile this. Expected a semicolon before if. Where it is, a semicolon is expected here. No? Okay. A small mistake can happen. Now it successfully gets compiled. dot slash assembler output a dot out, marks for 5 subjects, suppose 75, 45, 62, then 23, then 56. Now grade C. Okay, so average has been calculated, or better is, just let me print the average as well. So let me print the average as well, which will give you the clear idea. CU average, right? Fine. Now Control O again, Control X again, compile it. Now run it. Now give this same marks, whatever the marks I gave, 75, then 45, then 62, then 23, then 56. Okay, so average is 52, so it lies between the condition of 40 and 55, above 40 and 55. So the grade has been perfectly calculated. Okay, so instead of else if, you can use the, instead of else if, you can use the logical and operator. So this is the conditional statement, get supported in C++. Now we will move to the loop condition, means how to declare, no, before loop, sorry, switch case is there. So switch case is generally used for see, from that flowchart you can see, when there are multiple cases, right? So if case 1 is true, then case 1 will only gets executed and the cursor will come out from the switch body. Okay, if case 1 is false, then it checks for case 2. So whatever the case gets satisfied as per the as per the means syntax gives in the switch case, so whatever the case will get satisfied, so that according to that statement, means as per the, means that whatever the statement has been written as per that case, that will get executed. Okay, so if neither of any condition is satisfied in any case, then one default statement we always write in that inside the switch block. So if in none of the cases are is satisfied, then the cursor will go to the statement, whatever the statement has been written under default, so that will be executed. Okay, so syntax I can show you, syntax I can show you. Already I am assuming ki already you know this syntax, but still, so here I will write instead of SW. SW stands for switch. Okay. Uh, so simple example. I will just give you some small example. Already means you can consider it's a recapitulation whatever you have already learned in C language. So I am just revising this, revisiting all these things. Okay, sorry, spelling wrong. So return 0, right? So for switch case, whatever, suppose I am giving one integer carry, C it is a choice. Okay, so I will ask the choice C out. I will ask this choice from user, enter choice, right? So we'll scan it in. Now we will write the switch block here. We will write the switch block here, whatever the, yeah, whatever. Now you can write here some cases as well. Case 1, then C out, then you can write here case 1. Like this you can continue, like this you can continue. After that, one break statement, if this case gets satisfied, then one break statement. So just I am copying this, just I am copying it. So only 3 times I have copied, then default, right? Default. Okay, fine. So just we will check the output, just we will check the output. Okay, so there are three cases. That means 1, 2, 3. Case 1, case 2, case 3. Whatever the value you will give, if you give from means either if you give value 1, 2 or 3, then any of these three cases will satisfy, and as per their statement whatever has been written under this case will get execute and cursor will come out from the default. Okay, out from that switch block. So now control O, control X, compile this with the help of sw dot slash a dot out. So suppose I am giving 1. Okay, so case 1 will be output and other statements are not getting executed because of placing the break, right? And another one, suppose I am giving 5, then default will be printed. So it is very simple, and switch case generally we use uh, inside a do while loop when we are asked to write a menu driven program. So then we use the switch case. And menu driven, to design a menu driven program we should use the loop. That name of the loop is do while loop. Already I think you are familiar with this. If you are not, then I will discuss very soon. So inside do while loop we just put the switch case and for designing a menu, right? So now I will show you the loop concept, just a revisiting of the basic concept, right? So while loop, first of all, is the while loop. Why means the concept of loop has come in programming language, because for repeating the same statement, we are not, means it is not required to write the same statement again and again. For the as the alternative of this, or the solution of this problem has been solved, or solution of this problem can be thought of as a designing of a loop. So first of all, there are three types of loop, that is while loop, for loop and do while loop. The first one is the basic, that is while loop. This is the syntax. First of all, the while keyword we should use, and inside that while means condition is put after while inside this uh, first bracket. Okay, and in the body, this is known as the body of the loop. If this condition is satisfied, it is the condition. So if it is true, then our cursor enters in the body of the loop, and if it is false, then it goes outside of the loop. Okay, so if it is false, then it goes outside of the loop, right? 7 condition. And suppose assuming ki our condition is true, so we are inside the body of the loop. Now updation means here we can use either increment or decrement operator, the unary operator, which I already told in my previous lecture. So unary or means either increment or decrement we place put here. So as per that it gets executed. Okay, and when condition gets false, then it comes out. So that is the basic syntax of while loop. Now nested while. So nested while means I told you that means while inside that while. Okay, while inside that while. So the flowchart you can see start, then test condition 1. It is the first while loop. Okay, if it is true, then test condition 2. That means it is the inner while loop. This is outer while. This is the inner while. So if it is true, if this is true, then statements, so whatever the statements it is, then if it is true again, like this one loop will form. So if it is false, then end while means this is the end of the inner while. So again it checks for the condition of the outer while. If it is true, that same gets executed again and again. If it is false, then cursor goes out of the outer while. Okay, so one example, I think it is required to show you one example of nested while loop. Just checking the nested while loop, nano nested wh. Okay, any for nested and wh for while. Okay, now I think these lines I should copy, otherwise every time I am required to write this. spelling mistake. So what thing we are going to learn here na nested while loop. Okay, so ij I value I have declared as 1. Now I am using a while loop. Now I am using a while loop. Okay, so using it while I will check key. Another variable cout, enter, enter number of lines, c in, check it 9. Okay, so if it is less than lines, so if this condition is true, come inside the block. Another thing I just want to mention, if there is only single statement inside any condition or inside any loop, then it is optional. You may use the braces or you may not. Okay, I think you know this. Now while j is equal 1 as well, j less than I, cout suppose j. Okay, and here cout is here new line. Now just check. Now I will check what will be our output. So what I tried to print here, why I less than line, suppose the lines is 5. So 1 less than 5, yeah, it is true, then it will enter here. So 1 less than 1, the condition is true, then 1 will get printed. Then cursor will come to new line. Then 2 less than 5, then the value. So here what you can do is all the the j value will become, j value has become 2, so 2 less than 1, yeah, it will be false. So no increment actually I have put here. Here you can put j equal to 1. Actually the syntax of while loop is first of all initialization. Here it is the initialization of the outer while, and here it is the initialization of the inner while. Okay, now the thing is how j will increment, like that j will increment. Now like this I will increment it. Fine, just give me one extra bracket is there na? So just remove this bracket. So now it is fine. So it is the just let me write end of inner while, and this is the end of outer while. Okay, fine, it's the end of main. uh, Now just see what will be the output. Oh, made a mistake here. Yeah, fine. See, say you can see 1 1 2 1 2 3. So like this the output will be. like this the output will be. Hmm. I value is 1 here, 1 less than 5, 1 or less equal to we may use as well. Then j value is 1, so j less than I, so 1 less than 1 it is true, then 1 will get printed. J value 2 it is false. Then coming to the new line, okay, then I value is 2, so 2 less equal to 5, again it is true. J value again 1, okay, and we are printing the j, so that means first 1 then 2, or you may use here for second line actually it will be 1, then acha, then okay, so better you can do this, just a modification, a simple modification I have done here. The file name is unfind the file name, okay, so I have to write it again, g plus plus any dash wh dot cpp now dot slash a dot out number of lines 5. Here you can see 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5, so like that some triangle we can print. Already you have idea okay, how we can print some triangles or Pascal triangles or some pyramid, anything we can print with the help of this nested while loop or nested for loop. Okay, so sometimes it will be required to use this nested while loop, so these have some importance in programming language. So you can practice whatever the things you have done in your C language. So now in the same triangle printing you can do with the help of C++ as well. Okay, I just gave show you one syntax of it, one simple example, so you can carry forward whatever you learned in your previous semester in C language at the time of learning C language. Okay, now the for loop, already you have idea the for loop. So for loop syntax is first of all number one is initialization, then checking of condition. If condition is true, then it enters in the body of the loop. Okay, so again now then it goes to the increment portion. Okay, updation means either increment or decrement. So if it is true, then again it returns to the condition checking and again body of the loop. So like that one this loop gets occurred, like that this loop executes. Okay, so let me click the annotation. So like that we can consider one loop has occurred. That's it. Now, next slide. Now can I go to the next slide? Yeah, next slide. Now nested for loop. So for nested for loop, you can see the syntax of nested for loop. So two for loops can be used here. So first of all is for int I0 I less equal to 5 I plus plus, J0 J less equal to I J plus plus, then space, then J. So that means when I equal to 0, 0 less equal to 5, then condition is true, right? So when it is true, then it is entering in the body of the loop, right? So this is the body, this is the body for the first outer for loop. So 0 0 less equal to I, the I value is presently 0. So 0 less equal to 0, 0 less equal to 0. Here the condition is 0 less equal to, or just for first one I will tell you, 0 less equal to 0. Yes, this condition is true. So again it enters in the body of the loop. Huh. So after the operation, then it goes to the increment portion. Then it goes to the increment portion, right? So it checks if it is, it checks like this. If it is so like this, it checks. Okay. So same for here as well. Same for here as well. So that is how actually loop is formed. That is how actually loop is formed. Okay, so you can see that is how loop is formed. So whatever the logic will be, as per the logic, as per the logic the output will come. Now clear all drawings, proceed, and then please. Okay, now do while loop. So do while loop is the interesting one, or do while loop is the interesting one. I can show you the do while loop, syntax of do while loop. So first of all, do while loop starts from here. The body gets executed. Actually main difference between while and do while, if do while loop is, if the condition is false for while loop, the program will not execute. Program will not execute means, that means the body of the loop will not execute. But for false condition, at least one time the body of the loop will execute for the do while loop. So for while loop, if condition is false, no output. Okay, because body of loop will not be executed. But for do while loop, at least one time the body of the loop will execute. How? See the syntax. How? Now see the syntax. Nano do while. Okay, nano do while. So just syntax of do while loop. Oh, sorry. So after that, I will just discuss function, then we will bundle it up. Suppose ch is equal to 1. Okay. So now for do while loop, here we have to write the condition while ch less than 0. Although it is not less than 0, the condition is false, but still as it starts from that bottom, from top, it is a top down programming app. Means do while is the top down, so concept follows the top down concept. Ch equal to ch, getting. So here in that case the condition is false, ch less than 0, because the value of ch is 1, which is not less than 0. But still the body of loop, it is the body of loop, right? It is the body. So still it will execute. The value of ch will be printed at least 1. Okay, so after that we should, after that actually increment operator has been placed, or I may, the one I can use here, just a minute. Sorry, minus ch we may write here. That means decrement, pre decrement. But still the actually it will be, first of all the 1 will be printed out, then it will be 0, 0 less than 0 condition is false, then it should be should go outside, but one time at least it will execute. See, ch is equal to 1. So although condition is false, but as condition is checked at that very last stage, so that is why at least one time the loop executes, right? So this is the do while loop. And the last topic for today's video, I- last revision I should say, so that is the function. So function is a block. Function is a block which is used for reusing the code. So function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. Okay, and why it is placed? Why we put the function? The main logic is, main reason is key for reusing the code. Instead of writing the code again and again, we can put the logic inside a function, and whenever it is required to execute that logic, we may call the function. Okay, so function takes two parameters. At the time of calling the parameter, actually function has three function can be categorized into three parts. Okay, first of all, for functions are two types: user defined. So let me on the annotation. Functions are of two types. Okay, so one is the library function, and another one is the user defined, right? Another one is the user defined. So library functions are actually which we saw in our C languages, like printf, scanf. Okay, uh, get ch, gets, puts, these all are the library function. So we are not talking about the library function, we are talking about the user defined function, we are talking about the user defined function, right? User defined function. Hmm, User defined. So function is of three types. Function can be categorized into three parts. What are these three parts? The number one is the prototype declaration. Number one is the prototype declaration function. The prototype of the function can be, actually, as it is not a touch laptop, so prototype, right? So first of all, at the very top, we should declare the prototype. Then second one is the calling function, calling. So generally call is done from the main. Okay, call is done from the main, and at the time of calling, whatever the argument we pass, that arguments are known as the actual argument. Okay, and outside the function, always remember, outside the function we define the function. Okay, so that is the definition, that is known as the definition of a function. So that is definition. Definition of a function. So first of all prototype, then function call, that is called generally from the main, inside the main, and outside the main function is defined. So the arguments which we use at the definition of the function, these are known as the uh, formal arguments. At the time of calling, what are the arguments? These are known as the actual arguments, right? So clearing it, putting the annotation of, see, you can see. So function prototype, return type, function name, then parameter. So this is the return type. When it is mentioned as integer, that means our function is going to return some integer value. So in that body we have written 0. This is statement. This is also parameters or arguments, as it is the function definition. So actually I have not used here any argument. So that will be the formal arguments, and prototype we can declare at that very top. So I am showing you one example of function nano .cpp. Okay, so I'm calculating the factorial of a number, right? I will calculate factorial of a number. This is the last topic. So, oh, sorry. First of all, prototype. So I want to declare the prototype int fact int. Okay, so this is the prototype. That means the name of the function is the fact, and it is going to return some integer value, and also it is going to accept some integer value as well. Okay, so now from that function we can, okay, take a variable integer f, or not if, n actually should use here, cout enter n, cin n. Now I will call the fact. So int if a equal to, I will call the fact and will pass the n as the actual argument. Calling a function with actual argument, right? Now go outside the function. The function definition should be outside the function. Okay, integer, now whatever you may use. Suppose I'm using a t, so that is defining a function with formal argument. So n is the formal argument. Okay, so we can use here n as well. So actual argument and formal argument, the variable name can be same, so it doesn't put any effect. Now when we use definition on block, now want to calculate one trigger if equal to 1, uh, then one I is required, one for loop is required, I equal to 1, I is equal to t, I plus plus, right? So this is fine, I think. Now cout, okay, uh, cout here, cout should not be there. So if into equal to, assignment operator you can use, into equal to, f into equal to means f equal to f into equal to I. So that means that is equivalent to f equal to f into I, right? uh, Now I have to return this, I have to return this, return the value of, that is f. See, I have not used here any block. So after for loop I have not used this, I have not used this. Okay, so that means when I have not used this, that means compiler by default understands ki only it is a single line is there inside the for loop. Only this single line is there inside the for loop. So if we require to put multiple lines inside the loop, then we must have to use the block, right? So here you can see it is the logic of factorial, and I am returning the f, and this f will be received by fa, and after that we can give me a minute. After that we can print here, we can print cout factorial, sorry, the spelling mistake, factorial of factorial of what is the variable? It is n, then is equal to then fa. Okay, so that is the program. Factorial of, if I put here 5, factorial of 5 will be 120. So just checking it whether we have written perfectly or not. So require g plus plus, and it will be fun. It will be fun. Yeah, fine. Fine interend, it is 5. Yeah, it is 120, right? So just I'm opening it again for. So you can see with the program, so this is the prototype declaration. The prototype declaration means fact is the function name, int is its return type, and this int means is the argument. The argument means we are telling the compiler from the very beginning we are going to use one function. The name of the function is the fact, and it is going to return one integer value as well as it is going to accept one integer value as well. So from inside the function we are calling this function fact with the argument of n, whatever will be given as an input by the user, and this function is as going to return one integer value. So that integer has been dynamically declared here fa. Okay, and whenever the function is called, then cursor jumps to the definition of the function. So from here it will jump to the definition of the function. Now fact is the fact we are defining here, the fact function. It is int is its return type, and t is the known as the formal argument or parameter. It is the logic, that's logic of the factorial of a program. As single statement, so no braces is required. Then we are returning this f, returning the result, and this f gets stored, gets received by fa, and this fa has been printed out. Okay, so this is the simple definition of already you have idea of function. So you can, whatever you have learned, I am just summarizing right now. So you have learned, wait a minute. So you have learned ki what do you mean by functions, what is the why it is used, various types of loops and conditions. Conditions means nested if else as well as nested if else. If you want to avoid the nested if else, then logical and you can use, or switch cases are required at the time of designing menu driven program. Inside do while loop you may use some menu driven program. Calculator, you may design one calculator. So case 1 for means for arithmetic operations, case 2 for scientific means trigonometry operation. Like this you can design one calculator, and that is how whatever the logic you will write, the safe and secure idea is put that logic inside a function. So that will save the memory as well, time as well, because reusable of coding concept will be applied over here. So these are the topics today we have declared, we have means discussed with you students. Already you have the idea, so my suggestion is whatever you have learned in C language, whatever the means programming patterns you did in C languages using for loop, while loop, do while loop, if else, nested if else, so the same things, or the some logic of a program you have you used function there. So you can continue, you can apply C++, whatever you did, whatever the triangles and functions you did, you can use their C++ as well. Okay, so students, so this is the end for today's video. Soon I will upload my next lecture video. So till then, bye bye.